Hey, it's Dr. Shante, and one thing that I asked my email subscribers at the beginning of the year is, what is one thing that you want to focus on this year? What is one thing you want to prioritize? And one of the biggest answers was spiritual growth. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing a 3-step process to help you grow closer to God in 2019. Keep watching. So I'm really glad that you found this channel, because each week I share tips and resources to help difference makers find the tools, the confidence, and most importantly, the faith to believe bigger in your dreams. And so if you like this video and you like my channel, please like and subscribe, and be sure to turn on your post notifications so that you are notified every single time I post new content. Also, please leave your comments down below so that I know how you're responding to this material and I know how to better serve your needs. Now, let's get right into the video. So spiritual growth is a really broad category, and what I'm specifically going to be focusing on in this video is how to repair and restore that relationship if you feel like it's been severed, or it's disconnected, or it's distant, and you believe that that relationship is going to be essential to your success both emotionally and spiritually in 2019. I've shared this process with my podcast listeners on Believing Bigger podcast, and by the end of this video, you'll have a 3-step process that you can put to use right away to get that relationship back on track. My podcast listeners have found it so helpful, and I will be sure to post a link to my podcast down below so that you can refer to it as well. So let's get right to it. So the first thing you want to do is recognize the breach, meaning you want to identify that area where the disconnect occurred. And so sometimes it's a really sudden event, something really negative or hurtful or painful. And sometimes it's just a series of things that just kind of builds up over time, and it creates that drifting away from God. And so whatever that breach is, I want you to sit down, preferably with a pen and paper, and think about what happened. Where did the breach occur? Sometimes that negative thing, so it can be something like someone said something negative to you, or you experienced a loss, or people who claim to be Christians exhibited behavior that really kind of caused you to be jaded. And so if that's what happened, write that down. But if it was something like you got busy at work, and then you got busy with the kids, and then you got overwhelmed, then write that down too. But until you recognize the breach and where it occurred, it's going to be really difficult to restore and rebuild that relationship. So the second thing I want you to do is put your feelings on paper and be brutally honest. The fact of the matter is, God already knows how you feel, but sometimes we experience hurt and pain and disappointment, and we just suck it up and we soldier on, and we never really acknowledge those feelings. We just bottle it up, which is so unhealthy. And so I want you to put your feelings down on paper, and I want you to be really candid. I want you to be really honest about how you're feeling. And so if you're hurt, if you're mad, if you're angry, if you're disappointed, if you feel neglected, put all of those feelings out on paper, because it's in doing that, you are emptying yourself of that negativity, and it opens up the door for us to restore and replenish that with something that's more positive and healthy and affirming. And I know it's not always easy to be brutally honest with your feelings. And so if you're feeling comfortable, I want you to comment below and tell me, how is it that you navigate your negative feelings? How is it that you navigate those spaces of anger and hurt and disappointment, and so that you can get to a healthier place? I would love to hear how you guys are dealing with some of those issues. And so my third and final step in this process is actually a 3-part step. And I know that seems crazy, because it would seem like there's 6 steps, but trust me, they all go together. So the 3 parts to this third step, and I know that sounds crazy to say, but just go with me right now, is to make a decision, make amends, and make a request. So let's start with make a decision. After you've gotten all your feelings out on paper and you've acknowledged them possibly for the first time, I want you to decide, how do you want this to be resolved? In any sort of conflict resolution type situation, you need to determine, how do I want this to end amicably? What is going to be a satisfactory outcome for me? And so decide what that is. The second part is make amends. And so also in any sort of conflictual relationship, there's 2 parts, right? And so making amends is just owning your part. What role did you play in the disconnect? What things did you do, or what things did you say that contributed to the drifting away of the relationship? And just acknowledge that and share that to God and say, Lord, this is what I did. This is the role that I played in that. Okay, so just make amends and acknowledge what that is. And then last but not least, make a request. Now let me qualify this. Make a reasonable request. Okay, so if your favorite plant died and the plant death is what caused the breach, asking God to restore that plant is not going to be a reasonable request. Okay, and of course I'm being facetious, but you know what I mean. Okay, so when I say make a request, you know, tell God what you want to happen next, what you want to happen now. So it can be, Lord, take this burden away from me, or it can be, Lord, I want us to have better fellowship with one another. Lord, I want to have the same joy and excitement for you and love you like I used to back when we first got cool. Make a request, and I am telling you that the God that I know and the God that I love and serve will absolutely respond to this process. So that's it. Now that you know how to restore that relationship with God, I cannot wait for you guys to start that process. If you like this video and you like this content, please leave your comments below. I would really love to hear from you. And if you want more tips and resources like these, feel free to head to my website, readytobelieve.com, where I have all kinds of free downloads for you guys to be able to experience these types of tips to help you grow in life, in business, and spiritually on a regular basis. And I'll see you next time.